Committee meeting. So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:17. The first order of business is I'd like to consider the approval of the minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held on June 27th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Third on the agenda is review the monthly report for June of 2017. Brad, can you kind of go over that with us, please?
In your packets was enclosed the June report, which is the second month of the fiscal year, and just giving some of the highlights in the report. Sales taxes for the month, which was actually from March sales activity, was down about $17,000 compared to the same time last year. And year to date, it's down about $40,000, and that's about a 1.8% decrease compared to the last year same time. The high watermark for the month of June's receipts occurred last year in 2016, and only 3 of the last 12 months have established new highs. The home rule sales tax followed the similar pattern as it would be expected, with sales taxes being down for the month about $13,000, and year to date about $19,000, about 2% off there. And use tax, June's reporting for March sales activity was up slightly by about $12,000, both for the month and year to date. Use tax, again, is collected from out-of-state purchases shipped to Illinois customers, Illinois addresses. That's internet sales and merchandise used by retailers when the sales tax was not previously paid. A good portion of this is coming from sales like from Amazon and so forth. And Amazon, about a year ago, started reporting sales taxes, and so I would venture that a portion of this increase is attributable to Amazon sales. Income tax for the month showed a slight increase of $23,000 for the month and about $10,000 year to date. The high watermark for income tax occurred in 2007. Only one of the past 12 months established a new high. Property taxes, not too much to report there in June, because you're kind of in a lag between on Cook County with the installments due on March 1st and August 1st. And with sales taxes in Will County due June 1st and September 1st, you're kind of in a lull period through the month of June, and everything is at this point tracking according to expectations. So nothing news there. Video gaming for the month was roughly $28,000 in activity. That was for May's activity, about $9,000 up compared to the same time last year, and year to date, $57,000 this year, and about $17,000 up from the prior year. Again, there's a 2-month lag between when the gaming revenues are generated and when we actually receive the money. There were 26 licensees that were active as of the end of June, with 126 gaming devices. Comparably, the prior year was 21 licensees and 97 machines. There are 2 businesses that have been licensed by the state, but have not gone active in Tinley during the month of June, and there are 3 that have applied with the Illinois Gaming Board for approval. Motor fuel taxes, modest, about $125,000 came in for the month, and year to date $250,000, down about $2,000 for the month and $7,000 year to date. Again, motor fuel taxes has generally followed a downward trend over time, and this reflects that trend. Commuter parking, pretty normal there. We were down 1% in daily utilization in the month of June, but year-to-date we were up 2%. That is followed by the graphic charts depicting those same revenues and the trend line charts, which all, for the most part, follow a generally positive trend, with the exception of motor fuel tax. And then you have the greater detail, if you're so inclined, of the detail of the general fund revenues and general fund expenses by major departments, and also the revenues for the water and sewer fund and the commuter parking lot. And then the report concludes with a recap of the impact fees that have been paid to other governments, and we have paid out to other school districts, park districts, and the like, and the library, over $21.5 million in impact fees from new development since we started collecting impact fees in 1971. And the last thing in the monthly report is a recap of what the state owes us. They were 2 months behind in income tax distributions. They owe us some utility bills for water and sewer for the mental health center, and they owe us rent for the state police facility, a total of about $1,200,000.
Okay, thanks, Brad.
Unless there's any questions?
Any questions at all from you guys?
No.
Questions? Okay. So as you can tell, the report is for, the couple months we've been going in. So as we get farther into the year, we can start to look at this stuff and see some of the trend lines and what is up, what is down, and have a little stronger discussion on that. But nice job, Brad. Thanks. The next thing on the agenda is agenda number 4, and it's to discuss a letter of intent for a lease space for parallel cell tower at 67. It looks like 6775 Prosper Drive.
That's correct.
Is I think the right address.
6775 is the
Yeah,
address,
6775 is the letter. The purpose of the letter is to confirm that the land lease will, for 12 months from the date of this letter, hold the top spot on the tower open and available, especially the 95 feet and up, for the village to lease. Once the Village of Tinley Park is able to determine their specific equipment needs, the village will complete an application and will work together through the correlation process. Before the village can install any equipment, we must agree to the financial lease terms and have a fully executed lease agreement in place. The lease will be subject to passing FFA due to the increase in height and any other necessary regulatory compliance requirements. So basically what this is saying is that they will lease the upper portion of this tower at the discretion of the village if they do it. They will not pay the lease unless they do put the equipment on the tower. So this amount of the lease that they've agreed to, basically it's a 12-month lease, and it's $1,500 per month is the amount of the lease.
So I didn't really understand it. So there's a tower there already?
No, it's going to be constructed.
It's going to be constructed, and it was in one of the other committees, and there was a discussion on I think there was a variance on this, right, Pat?
Yeah, I believe tonight at your board meeting,
Yeah, I think I saw that the
It's on
planning
the-
committee
Yep.
said it's okay. So
it's
they're,
on
Yeah.
the,
it's
So
not
this is
just
the-
a building on, it's, okay.
This is the upper portion of the tower. So when they're building this tower, they're going up, I think it's 114 feet is the total that they're going up. But from the 95 feet up, there could be some equipment that the village will use on this tower. And if they do it, it will be a $1,500 lease that they will pay for the year, for 12 months.
And whose property is it on? Is it?
it's not ours.
It's not ours.
No.
So they're saving the top spot for us if we
I
want.
got it.
So I'd like to have a motion here to approve this,
So moved.
and second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 5, based on where we are at today, I'm taking this off the agenda. We still got room for work on this. The compliance officer, there's things that I'm looking at and working through, so we're taking it off the agenda for today, and we'll come back to it at some future date. Number 6 is to discuss adding one Class AV liquor video license for Rocco's Little Italy at 7907 West 159th Street. As you can see in your packet, we have 2 liquor video licenses that we're trying to get approved today. Both of these establishments, Rocco's being with the village for 16 years, very well-established restaurant. In your package, you can see that they basically have a separate area that they're going to be putting these machines in. It's in, if you look at the layout of where it's at, it's when you walk into Rocco's, I want to say that the bar area, they're adding on to that portion of the area. You can see the size of the establishment. That's where the video machines are going to be, so they won't be a part of the restaurant. What I'm doing is bringing it to us today, basically to have an approval based on having both Rocco's and Ashford House, the first one being Rocco's. So it's an established restaurant, been around a long time. I think it's a good opportunity for them to be able to have video gaming. The restaurant's an excellent restaurant that does very well in the community, and it's been in the community. You know, they've been here 16 years, so I don't know if you were able to look at, in the packet, there is a piece that shows, you know, what they're doing, and I understand concerns, you know, we've talked about this in the past, but the reality of it is, I think these are the type of businesses that I think are critical, especially the fact that they've been in town for a long period of time, and the opportunity for them to have them. So go ahead.
I absolutely get that. Rocco's is my wife's favorite restaurant. The stuffed peppers are amazing, and I see them here. And you know I've been against gambling in almost all circumstances. I've softened my view to allow it to be used as an economic tool to take care of businesses that have been vacant for a long time. I don't know how we could put the lid back on gambling. Everybody has it now. And it's hard to say to a business like Rocco's and Ashford House that's been around forever, that's great businesses, that you can't have what the guy down the street has.
That's the hard part.
I don't know how to reconcile my dislike for it. And I still think economic costs are coming down the road, despite, you know, in my opinion, the general unsightliness and unsavoriness of the whole gambling thing. You know, I get people want to do it. It's, I'm really at a tough spot. I don't know what to do. I can't. I don't want to say no to both of these businesses. They've been great for.
And I think it's a tough line. I mean, I've had discussions with other people on this, and I totally understand that there's going to be differences of opinion. What I will say though is that these are well-established businesses. They've been in town. They've supported Tinley Park. There is the opportunity for them to have them, no different than the guy down the street. And I think these are 2 of the better businesses that we have. And I think, you know, from my view, I think there's opportunity for them to be able to have a revenue stream that, you know, in some form helps, you know, to be able to do the things they want to do. So
It is only fair.
I'm with you, Mike. I've heard you loud and clear on other occasions, and
Do they need the license? I mean, doesn't the state say if you have a state liquor license, which I'm assuming they do, they could get it anyway with or without our approval?
If you remember, Mike, and sorry, you have to, you guys got to bear with me a little bit tonight, voices and what it normally is, but the board a few months back, or maybe a year ago
Did a
now,
policy.
we created these special subclasses so that very circumstance, you would get a chance to review these one-on-one. If they want video gaming, they have to tell you. Prior to that, you're absolutely right. They had a liquor license. If they could pour, it's out of your hands or off to the state. But this, they have, and for everyone watching, when you see these with the, what do we have here? AV.
Yeah, it's
Now,
AV.
if you see the V classification before, those are the new classifications. That's why they're here.
Right.
so I'd like to make a recommendation for the first one for Rocco's to be given the AV license and be approved.
So a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Somebody goes to something.
Aye.
Aye.
It only needs 2.
The ayes have it.
I'm going to vote no.
Okay. So the second one is Same, adding a Class AV liquor video license for Ashford House, 7959 West 159th Street. Similar situation here. Mike runs the Ashford House restaurant. There's an adjoining area that machines are going to go into. That area is not in the restaurant area. It's a separate area that these machines will go in. You can see on the diagrams that were in the packet, kind of where Mike is looking to put these. So, same situation. Mike's been with the town 20 years. Been a great, business. Both of these guys, I go into both of them, and I think they're quality businesses. And I think the bottom line with it is I'd like to make a recommendation here to have the AV license for the Ashford House.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay, and again, nothing against the business.
Yep.
It's a great business. I've been in there.
Say aye.
I said aye, yes.
Okay.
I did.
All right, motion carries 2-1.
Okay. That is it for the Finance Committee. We'll open it up to the public for any comments, if there's anyone for the public that has comments on it.
Just a couple questions, actually. Hey, Brad, you were talking about when how you gather all your data. How about, we bring in from other things too. What about like the convention center and Cavallini's? Don't we get money back from them?
Cavallini's, we've got a licensing agreement for the operator of that facility, so we get a licensing fee, basically similar to a rent.
But in the contract, isn't it, we get a percent of so much of the business?
There is a provision in the agreement, yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so we do. We have, where's all that kept, I guess, for all the different businesses that we do have that joint venture with? Because it's besides Cavallini's, it's
We have it for the 2 train stations.
Convention Center?
We just have it for the 2 train stations.
Two
And
train
that money goes back to, basically is set aside and is spent for maintenance of the train station
So
facilities.
where would we find that in the financials?
That is in the annual budget. It's part of the
No, but
train.
when you record the expenses, where do you put those?
It would be.
How do you keep those separate, I guess, is what I'm
it's-
asking.
well,
How much,
we-
could you
we've
tell me
We've
how much we
established
got?
a separate accounting fund, and it is in
Okay.
our village budget, the train station maintenance and operation fund.
Okay, so how would I see that if I wanted to look for that?
If you want, if you look at our website, the village budget has it's all broken down. You can do a search on the train station.
Oh,
maintenance.
it's broken down? Oh, okay, great, thank you.
And if-
That's all, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
that.
think the parking lots are
Um,
separate too.
And I completely agree with what you're all saying. Absolutely, these businesses are fantastic businesses, and they should have the perk of being businesses long-term here and getting this. But what I'm going to ask, and I don't know what committee it is. Oh, I thought that was me. There's got to be something that you have to be a long-term. There's got to be a benefit of being a long-term, good business here. We have to stand out. I mean, we can't just be everybody who comes here, everybody gets liquor licenses, everybody's asking for them. Everybody that stands up here and wants to come to do business here wants them now. Somebody has to make a rule somewhere that you have to be in business long-term. It's going to help you guys. It's going to help the longer businesses because they're not going to share it all with everybody because everybody's getting them. Make it a rule. You have to be in business for 5 years. Something. Who would that be to make that rule? What committee would that be in?
Are you talking about the gaming?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So what committee would that be? If you wanted to make some kind of, we've talked about this. I've been coming to these meetings for 2 years, and we've talked about it. You guys have talked about
I
it.
don't think you want too hard and fast a rule, though, because on the one hand, I've softened my view to allow, I mean, like San Fratello's, vacant for 3 years, burned down. Somebody's got to come in and put a lot of money into
True,
it.
true. If it falls, but that does fall under economics. We can give incentives, so
I don't
we're
think
okay
you
with that.
want-
That would be covered for
Too hard
that.
and fast a rule.
I know, but okay,
tie your
but
hands.
eventually,
I think
we're gonna be,
I
you
hear
know,
what you're saying.
Vegas.
I hear what you're saying. I think it has to be evaluated. It
I know,
probably
but I
would be-
hear-
It probably would be in Finance Committee. I think it's
Okay.
something that we need to look at.
I wish you would.
And the bottom line with it is, I think from the big picture, what Mike is saying is really probably one of the things that we have to evaluate, because there's so many different pieces that will come into play here. And I think it will be new businesses that, maybe take over a business that is sitting vacant
Okay.
and open.
But let's
and
give
fi-
it a chance, because you got some really sharp people
No question.
that are, this is economic, things
we're
are
not arguing.
changing, so
Right.
let's not be so eager to just, for businesses that are established and we want them, yes, absolutely give them that, and anything else that they ask for, in my opinion. But please, you got to do something, because everywhere I'm walking in now, not just the bars, I'm walking in a place with my nieces and nephews. I'm like, oh, God, they got gaming in here, too. It's like, please, I don't want to be that village. I don't want to be the gaming village because we're so hard up for businesses. It's like we're desperate. Let's not be desperate. Tinley Park is a great place, and I believe we are going to have people wanting to do business here very soon. It's very soon, if it isn't already, that we just don't know about. I'm going to ask you, Trustee, because I've listened to multiple consultants come through here now. Some looking at payroll, some looking at your rules, all these different things. Twice now I've heard about you need audit in there. You need policies and procedures. And maybe I should ask you this. Do you guys have those in place now? Because it sounded like they were saying after they did all their digging that they weren't there. So do we have them now, I guess? I'm asking you because as a finance guy, are they in
This is
place?
the question you're asking.
Do we have our financial policies in place now that we have better controls, so we know that what's happening? Because you've had consultants come in, and when they presented, that's what they're saying you're lacking. And maybe it wasn't in your committee, so I don't know if you hear about that. Whose committee was that
You're
in?
talking about the fraud audit?
We haven't done the fraud.
No, not fraud audit. No,
She's
that's
talking
another
about
consultant.
The
we're bringing in
HR?
now.
That, I don't
HR,
think
that's
we've
another
really looked.
consultant. Yeah, that.
Dave, what was
one
it?
of-
Pay something, pay master?
Yeah, I mean, there was a pay thing, but I mean, in terms of our financial policies, I mean, I think we have very solid financial policies and procedures. We get an annual audit every year.
Okay.
and So I mean, there's a fraud assessment audit going on now. Yeah, maybe
I'm
Those
not
are
sure
two-
what that is, and
those
I
are-
don't want
I'm
to,
not
I don't
sure
even
what
want
those
to,
are.
yeah, I don't want to mix the two. I'm talking about
Okay.
Two
just
different things.
financial, I have to follow, we have to follow Sarbanes-Oxley. I know government, you follow something else.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm confused because I keep hearing these consultants talk about this, but I don't see any changes happening that make me feel better that we have controls in place now that
Yeah.
financial,
I guess
procedures. Do you
maybe-
have
Maybe
amount?
we can talk offline, because I'm not
Okay.
sure specifically if there's some things you think we could do better. I'd be glad to listen to them, but yeah.
Well, I just don't, I'm confused because
Okay.
we keep bringing in new consultants to look at more, and they keep telling you guys, I keep hearing what they're telling you to fix. I'm just asking, are we fixing that? And I guess I'm asking you guys, a trustee, because they're
From the
auditing you, and
from the
nothing against you
financial
guys, but
view-
you know how audits are.
From the financial view,
Mhm.
we get audited every year.
Mhm.
And it's a very, very stringent audit.
Okay.
That audit, if we didn't have our financial in order, it would be questioned in that audit. Our audits are very good. We've gone to a new company this year. Brad's working with a new company. We've had a different company, and that's good that that's happening.
Okay.
They're in the midst of that right now.
They'll actually be starting field work next week.
Next week, Brett?
Yes.
So that is the financial audit that we go through every year. It's very, very, the results of it are very good. The key element to that is there's these other things that you're talking about. And I think
Right.
if we were able to talk to you and understand what you're
Okay.
looking at, then it makes it easier
Well,
for me
maybe if you
to
could
give
do
you an
this, so
answer.
we've had 2 consultants come in here. Could you please pull that out of those consultant reports? Because they said very clearly what they thought we were lacking, and what departments even, because,
We will do that.
Yeah.
We will do
I
that.
And I'm
think
just
I
saying,
probably
make
wanna
sure, 'cause
understand
what
which
I'm-
report you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's
Okay.
what we
So,
want to know.
Yeah, so
Okay.
maybe we can.
We can
just
do
talk.
that with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
thank
you. Okay, I'd like to adjourn the Finance Committee.
So moved.
Can I get, so moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Okay, move on to the next one.
that's me. I'd like to open Economic Development and Marketing Committee meeting. I'm open.
Yep.
Consider the approval of the minutes of the Economic Development and Marketing Committee meeting held on June 27, 2017.
So approved.
Second.
Thank you. Discuss Village Exchange.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Number 3, discuss Village Exchange and alternative resident communications. Donna, would you like to speak on the exchange that's been here since 1978?
Absolutely.
This is a change.
It would. You are all familiar with our exchange. Right now, we publish this twice a year. It began as a quarterly publication back in the 1970s and transitioned to a 3 times a year, and then in the early 2000s, and then in 2015, we started doing it twice a year. So right now, it takes us about 150 hours of staff time to write and edit and lay it out, and it costs us about $15,000 to produce it and to mail it. And obviously, with social media and digital delivery, these print methods aren't really allowing us to be as timely a delivery of this information. So our content has been a little bit repetitive from issue to issue, and we also are repeating that content through our existing delivery channels. So tonight, I was kind of hoping to solicit some board feedback on the possible redirection of some of these resources. One of the ideas that we've had is to publish an annual report. So we would kind of, transition this to a one-time-a-year publication where it would be an annual report, which would include our budget information. Obviously, around the May 1st timeline would make the best sense as far as timing. And then we could redirect that staff time towards some video delivery options. So, ideas such as, a spotlight on our departments or on our commissions and the initiatives that are happening in the village. If it's even with our branding, a local music spotlight or something like that, because, video delivery allows us much faster and, a little bit better opportunities to integrate that as well into our existing marketing channels. So I just kind of wanted to start the conversation.
I like the ideas you put in there. I thought there was some really, I think, beneficial things that we could look at. I mean, things that we probably haven't done that I think would put a spotlight. I mean, a lot of people hear that people do certain things in the village. Well, if you can spotlight a different group every month, I think that's a great idea. I think Jake having the opportunity to, to have some comments on a monthly basis. I thought some of the ideas you put in there were really well kind of put together. So my view of it would be, we're still getting one a year. And then the other side of it, we have a lot more communication going out, I think, compared to having 2 a year.
I concur. I do think that there's a certain population of our village that doesn't get internet access and maybe isn't seeing some of the things on TV. So I think the once a year, is there anything that might need to get out like more often that would need to be in writing, or could we get everything kind of listed in the year?
Right now we do our
dates for the year instead of.
Sure, we do our water quality report, which is a required publication, which for the last couple issues, we've been sending out a postcard and directing people to the website. If they want it, we could print off if they want a hard copy and mail it to them. We could certainly utilize.
Could we do that in the annual report to kind of have it ahead of time, or?
Sure, we could print a small portion, or we could print it off for people on a just-in-time type,
Right. That'd be my only concern, and then, if you come back to us with whatever ideas you got, I think they're great. Just kind of get the most bang for our buck, like what's getting viewed. And
People
used.
like videos. It's a lot easier to look at. But that also, for the elderly people mostly, it does concern me. Is there any way that they could possibly have a subscription to get one?
to get
A copy or something?
annual report.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. We
Is there a way we could
print it
set
and
that
mail it.
up, that they could, I'm not sure if they would sign up or how they would do it.
Maintain a list of people who want a hard copy.
Maybe we could direct them in the exchange.
This will be the last
Copies
one.
of the water reports here, if anybody wants it. Besides the internet, we got a copy available.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it would not be difficult to maintain a list. If people
Right.
wanted us to print copies for them, we could print it and mail it.
Without a doubt.
Would certainly drop our mailing costs down considerably.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'd like to move forward with this plan, saving a tree, of course.
Couple. Okay.
Do you need, is there any, do we
No.
need anything to move forward?
I think the direction is clear.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Look to move forward that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. I love the ideas too. Like to, do we have any comments from the board? You done? Okay. Any comments from the public regarding the exchange? All right, we're going to, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. I'd like to call the special meeting of the Administrative and Legal Committee to order. Do I have a motion to approve the Administrative and Legal Committee meeting held on June 27,
I'll make a motion.
2017 meeting?
Second.
Minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discuss contract with GovTemps for HR Assistant Director, and she's already here, right?
She's already here. Yeah, we basically signed an initial contract just to kind of make sure that it worked out. Sam's been a real asset to us, kind of leading efforts on pay plan and some other issues. So this basically would provide us to extend it an additional 90 days. And so if the board or the committee is okay with this, we could put this on the agenda next Tuesday.
So it's a hard 90 days. I mean, if we do find another person, we just start them 90 days later?
Yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't anticipate we would have anybody else within 90 days, so.
Anybody else have any questions on that?
No, I was good with it. I mean, so the game plan, Dave, is then after the 90 days, you guys will make a decision?
Well, right, we have, if you remember, right, we've got essentially 2 people in interim position.
Right.
So I think I would come and talk with you about my assessment of where we're at.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Discuss ordinance amending consent agenda
Wait,
items.
Dave, I'm sorry. Hold on, Mike. We're gonna need that on, is it on this agenda or next agenda?
This is for next.
I said the 8th, I'm sorry.
I think it's on tonight's
It's on
consent
tonight,
agenda.
I'm sorry. It's on tonight.
So we need a motion.
Just
on-
do a motion to recommend.
Yeah.
I'll make a
sorry.
motion.
Yeah.
Second.
You need it all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Number 4, discuss ordinance amending consent agenda items.
Yeah, if I could, trustee Panito?
I did see that. I gave you one change. Go
So
ahead.
trustee Mangan and trustee Berg, I put a hard copy in front of you.
Yes.
I sent it via email earlier, so I was a little bit late on this, but essentially, if you remember a few months ago when we did the committee changes, we also did some changes to the, one change to the consent agenda. Essentially, we put in items of a routine nature previously and unanimously approved by a standing committee. We discussed this at the last meeting, and I was hoping Mr. Paws would be here, who's been talking with us about the nature of routine. If you remember last time, I thought the easiest route would be to, instead of try to come up with some definition, all-knowing definition of routine, we put in what we don't want. So before you tonight, I'd be recommending that we add to the sentence with the routine nature, the following. However, no items which will result in the expenditure of more than $50,000 or items related to zoning matters shall be placed on the consent agenda. Also, in talking to trustee Panito, he brings up a good point. He's also suggesting that we add prohibition against anything from committee meeting immediately preceding a Board of Trustee meetings. So as we talked about, and I think your staff did a very good job of with your new committee structure. Some of the ideas, you guys don't want to be in committee, seeing something for the first time, and then it's on your board meeting 10 minutes later. It's going to happen. It's happened tonight. But we're trying to get away from that. I think it makes a lot of sense that those items, instead of being consent agenda, those would be on your regular
It's a good call.
agenda.
Thank
I
you.
think it's a good idea. So if you guys are okay with this, have any other suggestions, adding Mike's suggestion that any, a prohibition against anything from committee meetings immediately preceding a Board of Trustee meetings. If you guys are good with this, if you want to recommend it, we'll have it on your August 8th, something like that. Whenever the next time you meet, we'll have it, unless you guys have any other further suggestions.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I'm good with it. Good.
Should I see if there's any comments from the public on this
Yes.
one?
Sure.
Since this is, any comments from the public on the,
On that 50,000, is that what, per time, per year, the contract, what is it?
It would just 50,000 per year, I would say the way it would be in most contracts.
So you're gonna pay them more than 50,000, or the vendor, it's gonna be,
It would not be on a consent agenda, yeah. So the idea is, and it works the same way with, bid contracts, state law, anything over 20, or it might be 25 now, and, it's generally not acceptable to, have a $20,000 contract one month and a $20,000 the next month. That's not the idea of this. This is anything that's going to be over $50,000 in that year's budget. You're just not going to have that on a consent agenda.
For the contract.
The contract, correct.
I would make a recommendation if there's no other comments.
I also recommend it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Discuss ordinance surplus equipment. Anybody have any questions? I'm seeing some of the stuff is from the 70s, some of the stuff is from 2010. What's our,
2007. What happens to the vehicles?
they go to auction.
Good auction.
We'll go to auctions based on the value of that.
But what's the criteria? Is there like a hard and fast criteria?
Well, as far as what is on the list of surplus equipment, it's anything
Yeah.
that's got a value of $1,000 or more that we wish to dispose of.
But how do we decide if it's reached its useful, end of its useful?
Well, vehicles go through, there's a evaluation process that determines, and most of these vehicles have been replaced, most of them are police vehicles that have been replaced with newer vehicles, and so now it's, if they don't meet the criteria that we can redeploy them in pool vehicle uses, they go to the auction.
Okay.
And that's most of what you've got on the list is vehicle equipment.
Yeah, I saw one or two of them that were newer models, that's why I kind of questioned it. Any other questions?
No?
You need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Roll call, or all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have a motion to,
Yeah, it is.
or does anyone from the public wish to make any comments? Let the record,
I'm sorry, I didn't know if this is the right place. Talking about, advertising, just a question, because it came up in somewhere I was recently with a bunch of people in Tinley Park. And I was saying they're hiring people, they're always looking for people because they're talking about changing this residency, and they're like, we didn't even know they were hiring people. Do you put it in the paper? We have all these things that are coming out, the exchange, which I think is awesome to get to people's homes. How do we get that in there besides, to get,
There are-
really, you want
there-
people from Tinley?
the sale you're talking about?
And any positions with the village are
I know on
that
their
are open are on the
website,
website.
but I mean, think about it. You really want people. You want people from Tinley Park, because that's what the residency thing is. Are we putting it in the paper? Is it in the paper, listing it
Well,
out?
depending on the position, put it in a variety of publications.
I mean, why wouldn't we? If we want to have a residency thing, you're talking about lifting it, you don't even use it. You're not putting it in the paper. Put it out there to get people. I know a lot of people out there, good talented people, that could do a lot of good in this village.
Well, we publish it we tend to publish in publications related to the position. If you're looking for,
I understand, but people will, to work closer to home, they may make a change that they may not even be looking for. Put it out there in
well, again,
these
we
weeks.
make it available on the website. So
On
if
Facebook
somebody's
page?
Yeah, we
interested,
have been
check the
started to
website.
put, the positions on
Pardon me?
there.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I said, we like I say, we also put it on the list on the website. So if somebody's interested in looking at something,
But I mean-
they can check the website periodically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, everybody
Diane,
just
are you
goes around checking
suggesting
all
like the
websites.
Tinley Junction perhaps?
Yes,
I understand.
yes. You know
That
what I'm
is a good
saying?
idea.
If we really want to have people working in Tinley that live here, because that's the residency requirement, before you talk about lifting that, which I disagree with, and I'll tell you why, sorry. But I'm on a rant, but I'm walking around our village, I walk around it all the time, and I'm taking pictures all the time, because I'm all about things should look good. Tinley Park is an impressive place, it always has been, that's why I moved here. We can fix all the little things, we can make it look better. People who work in the village, you probably do the same thing. Oh, wow, look at that, the whole lights got broken. Let me text my buddy John who works over in this department. That's what you do because you live here. Mike, I'm sure you've done it. I know Mike has done it because I hear people you're helping all the frickin' time. So it gets done, but you have to live here to see it. If you're not living here and you get in your car after you leave your office, you have no idea that 5 of our parks, that's all. I'm sorry, I know I'm on a rant, but I'm on a rant.
We
No, appreciate
appreciate
it.
your comments.
Okay.
Were you asking at all about where this vehicle surplus equipment will be advertised, or?
No, I'm just talking about hiring people. No, that's normal.
I'm assuming that'll be on the website as well, the vehicle surplus, as well as wherever Does anybody know where that'll be published?
Yeah, I don't.
Which auction? anyone know?
Usually there's a joint auction that's sponsored by the South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association. I don't know if the date has been set yet.
I know last time they did it, I went on the website to make sure it was published.
And in the last couple of years, it's been held over at Orland Park's Public Works facility on Ravinia Drive. But I'm not sure if the date's been set for it.
Any other comments, questions? Do we have a motion to adjourn the Administrative and Legal Committee?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Seven. You got 3 minutes, Brian.
So, I bet that
Take the X off. I do have one old monitor that's got X off.
Yeah, I respond.
I'm gonna take it to the meeting and have her do all this.
Don't put it right back on. Hey, when I show you a
I know.
We have to wait till 7 o'clock to start the public. We do. Yes, just so we know. Why we're waiting. Okay, we just-
2 minutes.
That's all that goes.
sugars, drinks.
I'm just winding up with finance. Sophomore time. Okay. So we're getting rid of the exchange. Maybe just like people with people, it's just not. James should come up and visit me. Yeah, they're home. Start school August 10th. I won't be there. Next week. Yeah, we go to the kids and then they start Monday and Tuesday. We don't even show up till after Labor Day because they think they're CPS. So I have all these kids registered. No physicals, just coming. No, I collect them all, make sure that they're all staying. Someone emailed me today one, it's a 6th grade physical. So if you think you're getting school time.
Hey, Dave. These promotions for the engineer and firefighter, I'm sorry I didn't give you a
That's why results are early in the morning. Last year. I'm getting no snow days left. I know, the kids don't show up.
It's recognized.
They start registering the whole month of August.
My wife starts before too.
Is she a teacher? Where is she?
She was at Millennium, now she's at Wilson Fenway.
She's my old school district.
She's been
Oh, yeah, Millennium's so nice.
Yeah, she's
She may
been
have had
there.
my daughter.
Yeah.
She started there in kindergarten. I had lived with my folks for a little while. And my daughter was there. She's in the hearing impaired program.
Oh, was that?
But she got
that's
mailed
the
out to 5th
community, that's the
graders.
board meeting?
The classroom.
Can you scroll down?
Maria was beautiful.
Yeah, it is a nice school.
All of our schools are nice.
Ready, Brian?
5-7?
I'd like to call the Public Works Committee meeting to order. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the special Public Works Committee meeting held on July 11th, 2017.
Second.
Alrighty.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Number 3, discuss Cook County intergovernmental agreement for 175th Street between Oak Park Avenue and Ridgeland. This agreement is between the engineer and Cook County. Cook County will reimburse the village for 100% of the cost as far as the jurisdictional transfer. Is there any questions with that? If not, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement between Cook County and
Second.
Tinley Park. All in favor? Aye. Number 4, discuss a village engineer position. We had a resignation of the village engineer, and we need a you want to talk about that, Kevin, or what we need, why we need the engineer to come on?
Yeah, so our village engineer resigned on the July 27th. He went to go work for another municipality that's closer to his home. He's wouldn't be in that 30-mile radius. He's like 58 miles, so I'm guessing that his wife and him didn't want to move out of their house that they're currently in. So with that appointment as he was appointed village engineer, we need to appoint a village engineer to sign our IDOT paperwork. Previously, it was Robinson Engineering until we hired the village engineer. So now we got to go in one of our consultants until we hire a new village engineer to temporarily take that position as village engineer. As per the letter, we were directed that Christopher Burke is going to do all the general permit stuff, engineering. So we picked Christopher Burke to be the village engineer. And we're just looking for direction if that's how you guys want to go.
And then we're going to currently go out to seek an in-house engineer, correct? Through the process to...
Yeah.
Dave?
Yes, there's, our neighbor just did a recruitment, similar position, so right now we're talking to them to see if they may have some other candidates that could work for us. If we don't, we're going to have to go to the recruitment again.
Okay. Any other questions?
Are we, Kevin, going to be paying them only when they're on site? There won't be any travel time involved with her?
Correct. That's I'm going to verify that tomorrow, but yes, as in the meeting before that, they were not going to charge us any travel expense.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Anything else? Do we have any comments from the public?
Yeah, I just want to say we might not be in this predicament if the motion to hire wasn't rammed through. There should have been a second on Trustee Glatz's motion to delay or defer to the next meeting when nobody knew a thing about the engineer or his benefits.
The benefits, anyone could have asked ahead of time instead of coming here at a meeting. It's public knowledge. He could have called Kevin. Mike Magnan called Kevin. He had questions. He called me. My phone's on, email. No one contacted me in regards to what his salary was or anything, or the village manager.
During the meeting, Trustee Glatz asked if anybody got any emails.
Correct. I talked to him an hour that particular day, never made any mention of it, any questions of it. So you could come here and criticize us. This process was going on for 6 months.
I have the right to, but I might be
And I'm
speculating.
gonna have a right
I might
to
be speculating
tell you how
also.
I feel, Mr. Stuckley.
Sure.
Too, so
And
after 6 months, this village doesn't stop because there was an election. There was an election, and it happened in April. He took office in May. This process was going on for 6 months prior. Work doesn't stop in between. So that you could say whatever you want, but again, I totally disagree with you.
And when you told me to go ahead and look it up on the website or FOIA it wasn't on the website. The information on the engineer.
It's not a secret document. If someone wants information, all you
I
have to do is ask.
I did get my information, but when you
Okay.
told me to look it up, it wasn't on there.
He wasn't hired yet. Till that meeting, then I'm sure it's up on the website, just like everyone else's salary.
But you had told me at the meeting to go ahead and look it up.
I believe I told you before, but whatever, we could agree to disagree.
That's fine. Now, maybe when you made the whisper to a certain trustee.
You make fun of me online. You think you're so classy, Mr. Stuckley? You want to be an online bully, and you want to come up here and call me the whisperer, say I have triple chins? Do whatever you want. I think it's disgusting and appalling that you come up here and do this. So, this is a village meeting.
I'm speaking
and you
as
should
a-
have some respect. That's all I'm going to say. Sit there and smirk and laugh.
I'm speaking as a
You want me to
resident.
talk about your DUIs and stuff and talk about that like everybody else? I'm not doing that. So we're in a village meeting, so.
No?
not my meeting.
Do you think it's okay for a trustee to go off?
There's one person up at the microphone. If you want to come up, you can feel free after
I'm sorry,
that.
you're right. That's my bad.
Okay, are we on the hook for $3,500 for this the engineer's moving fee or no?
It's to be determined.
Okay. In my opinion, there was no logic in the equation of what actually happened. I think everybody should have just taken their time and said, let's give it another week or two and find out more. It just didn't look right to me. That's all I'm saying.
Again, the process was going on for 6 months prior to that.
Okay, that's your opinion, I understand that.
It's not my opinion,
But-
it's fact.
I know,
And
but-
if someone wanted information, instead of grandstanding at a meeting and asking
I'm
questions,
not-
I'm not talking about you. But if someone wants information, especially someone on the committee, all they have to do is ask. You've got a public works director, assistant director, you've got a manager, you could contact any of them. I'm not going to come here and, business doesn't stop because, you want to ask how much, you ask the treasurer on point, how much does this make? People don't have those numbers off the top of their head. You're on some fishing expedition here trying to,
Not even
Okay.
close, not even close. You're paranoid.
Yeah.
Only thing I would say is the comments that are being made, the things that are being done, you have the right to ask the questions, but the process that went through for this position was a very thorough process. And I have to commend the people that did it because they did. Now, this individual made a decision. You can question, what happened and how it happened. It goes back to some of the questions that are being raised by other residents here about, residency and other things. I mean, the reality of it is, he decided that he didn't want the job. Now, I think Brian's given you the information to say that they're looking at the fees that the village did, and I know that's happening right now to see if they can get those back. So I hear what you're saying, but on the other side of it, you got to be able to have the people that manage these areas do their job, and I think they did here. This individual decided not to take the job after he got here because another job came up, and it was closer to where his wife and his kids wanted to live.
Totally understandable. But what I was just basically going at was when Trustee Glatz asked for a second, he didn't have all the information, although Brian says everybody should have had. I was at the meeting, so I'm just basing what I'm talking about, I'm just basing on what Trustee Glatz had said.
I think the key here is we're a team, okay?
And you should be, and I think you are.
We should, okay? And if there's questions that are being raised that anyone else do their due diligence, I wouldn't embarrass someone in front of the committee. I did what I felt was the right due diligence, and it was done. Kevin did a great job of going through the process with his people to do what they needed to do for this. The bottom line with it, no matter what we say or what we do, he made a decision not to come to Tinley, or to come to Tinley and go somewhere else. So I don't know what else you can say here.
No, I don't have anything against the guy for not coming to Tinley. That's fine. And I've dealt
I
with
know,
Kevin
but I think
before
the
too on
question you're
emails. And
raising,
he's
the question you're raising, if I'm hearing you right, and I think I'm hearing you right, is that another week would have made that decision be different. At least that's what I'm hearing you say.
Another week or two, maybe more information would have gotten out.
What
about-
information?
That's the part that that's the part.
I'm going on with Trustee Glatz says nobody knew anything about the Bennies.
Okay.
That's what I'm just basing on.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
And I'm just saying, now the next time when we go, and if in fact, some information isn't out there, maybe we don't have to, okay, I'm not gonna say ram it through, maybe we could just wait and defer it like Trustee Berg did to Lakota to get a little bit more information.
Okay.
And it turned out to be probably a good decision.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
First of all, I don't think it's acceptable to feel bullied. And honest to God, that's how you're acting. That's all I want to say on that. This is the second person, I believe, that has not decided not to work or work here for a short period. Do they sign a contract with us that they will not get paid their money, or we will get our money back from them? Our tax money, basically?
It's not a contract, no.
Okay, normal HR 101, you hire someone, they sign something, anything we get back if you're not gonna fulfill the contract. There's scams out there that the companies hire. There's a lot of things that can go on. We have to be covering ourselves. This is what I'm talking about, policies and procedures. Come on, serious, this is basic. Anybody in any business has people sign when you're handing them money. Did we move them here?
He moved.
Two people now, right? Yes. So we're paying for them to move here, and we don't think we should have them sign anything? This is what I'm saying about policies and procedures.
At the last meeting.
This is normal.
I hear what you're saying, but at the last meeting it was brought up, And Dave made a very clear comment in that meeting that from this point on, because of the situation, that we would make sure that that was part of the agreement. Is that fair to the rest of the trustees?
That's
Yes.
what we
And
said.
that's what was stated. I hear what you're saying, but I think we're
Okay.
making adjustments based,
Okay,
it's
and
not a
it's
contract.
great, and it's
not a
great, I get
contract.
it, we got a lot to grow, and I've watched 2 years now, and nothing against you guys, and I know I'm on audit, I get it, nobody wants people to come in and look at their stuff, I get it, but this is our money, this is taxpayers' money, and you have a responsibility. And back to what you were saying before about everybody having it, it wasn't on the website, I looked. I am coming to every one of these meetings to learn what's going on now. And it wasn't there, I don't need a response.
'Cause they weren't
I don't
hired
need a
yet.
response. And then the other thing was, I asked everyone, I called some people personally on the phone. Trustee Berg told us she Googled it.
Yes, I trusted Brian to vet the project.
Okay, please, you don't need to defend. I'm asking you all, and I know this isn't every village person here, to sit up there as individuals. Mr. Brady told me that he didn't know anything, but he was trusting the other people. And I get it, we want to trust everybody. Everybody's wonderful, we want to trust everybody. We cannot trust everybody, because I'll go get the paper any day this week, and I'll point out, we have to have policies and procedures in place. We have to. And I will come to every meeting, as long I have nothing to do on this night, every week, that there's meetings, and ask about the same thing until I feel like we're doing something to change it.
Anyone else? Do a motion, if not, a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Just 2 days.